Did you know that over 54% of American Christians now believe that homosexuality should be accepted by society?
States like South Carolina don't have any anti-discrimination policy at all that covers people based on sexual orientation or gender identity.
Yet, despite this growing acceptance, homosexuality remains one of the most divisive and controversial issues within Christian communities. From the pulpit to the dinner table, debates rage on, often leaving individuals caught between the teachings of their faith and a modern understanding of human sexuality. This conflict is not just theological. It has real and devastating consequences. LGBTQ+ individuals often face discrimination, exclusion, and even violence, all too frequently justified by misinterpreted or selectively used biblical passages. Families are torn apart, young people struggle with their identities, and many feel forced to choose between their faith and their true selves. But guys, what if the true source of this conflict isn't the people themselves, but the misconceptions and mistranslations that have persisted for centuries? In this video, we're going to reveal the hidden 7 truths about homosexuality that every Christian must know. These truths will be disturbing and challenge your beliefs, but at the end of the video, you get a completely new light and understand how these ancient texts can guide us toward a more loving and inclusive faith. The Bible's stance on homosexuality is more complex than many believe. While certain passages are often cited to condemn homosexuality, the overall message is more complex. For instance, Leviticus 18 verse 22 states, "You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination." This verse is frequently used to argue that the Bible outright condemns homosexuality. However, it's essential to consider the context in which this was written. Leviticus is part of the Old Testament law, which includes various regulations that many Christians do not follow today, such as dietary restrictions and clothing rules. A 2014 Pew Research study found that 54% of American Christians believe that homosexuality should be accepted by society. This statistic reflects the growing recognition that the interpretation of biblical texts regarding homosexuality is not as straightforward as it seems. Have you ever wondered why different denominations have varying stances on this issue? It's because the Bible's messages are often interpreted differently based on cultural, historical, and theological perspectives. After this shocking reality, let's move forward to the second shocking truth of homosexuality, which is misunderstood biblical passages. Some Bible verses that people use to speak against homosexuality are often misunderstood. One of the most quoted verses is from Romans 1 verses 26 to 27, which talks about men and women leaving natural relationships for unnatural ones. However, the context of these verses is crucial. The Apostle Paul addressed the practices of idolatry and the behaviors associated with pagan worship, which included sexual acts. Historical analysis suggests that these passages were not condemning consensual same-sex relationships, but rather specific practices linked to idolatry. The understanding of these verses has evolved over time, and many biblical scholars argue that they do not address modern concepts of sexual orientation and committed same-sex relationships. Could it be that we've been misinterpreting these passages all along? What do you think about it? Please let me know in the comment. And now let's move forward to the third truth, that is the impact of translation differences. Different translations of the Bible can lead to different interpretations of key texts. For example, the word homosexual did not appear in English translations of the Bible until 1946. Before that, terms like sodomites or effeminate were used, which have different meanings in intent. The original Hebrew and Greek words have complex meanings that are often lost in translation. Take the term arsenokoitai, used in 1 Corinthians 6 verse 9. Its exact meaning is debated, but it is often translated as homosexuals in modern Bibles. Some scholars argue that it refers to exploitative sexual practices rather than consensual same-sex relationships. Do translation choices shape our beliefs more than we realize? And after all of this, let's move forward to the fourth truth that is even more shocking than these. But guys, wait. Hold for a minute. Please have a look at this. You all watch the video and then just leave it. Please also hit the subscribe mate. It takes a lot of effort to create such a video. Or else if not, then maybe you will face these. Okay, now let's go back to the video. Cultural context plays a huge role in understanding biblical texts. The Bible was written in a vastly different cultural and historical setting than today. Ancient Near Eastern societies had different norms and values, and these influenced the writings of the Bible. For example, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis 19 is often cited as a condemnation of homosexuality. However, the main sin of Sodom was being unfriendly and violent. This is shown in other parts of the Bible, like Ezekiel 16 verses 49 to 50, which says, "Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They were proud and did terrible things before me." How does understanding the culture of biblical times change our view? And after this shocking truth, you might get more shocked here because the fifth truth is about the insights from original Hebrew and Greek texts. And Greek texts offer deeper insights into the Bible's messages on homosexuality. The term homosexual is a modern construct that did not exist in biblical times. The Hebrew and Greek words used in the Bible have specific contexts that are often misunderstood in translation. For example, the Hebrew word ta'eba, translated as abomination in Leviticus, refers to something ritually unclean or taboo for the Israelites, often in the context of idolatry. Similarly, the Greek word malakoi, used in 1 Corinthians 6 verse 9, means soft or effeminate, and likely refers to moral weakness rather than sexual orientation. So, when we go deeper, do you understand the hidden truth behind it? Also, guys, there are a bunch of people in the comments section who found some difficulty or have questions regarding these concerns that urgently need your suggestions as a guide for them. So please, like the wise man, please visit the comments section and give your insightful suggestions to others. And if you have any concern, then please let us know. And after all of these, let's move forward to the sixth shocking truth of this video, about the teachings of Jesus on love and acceptance. Jesus' teachings focus more on love and acceptance rather than condemnation. While Jesus did not directly address homosexuality, his overarching message was one of love, compassion, and acceptance. In Matthew 22 verses 37 to 40, Jesus summarizes the law with two commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus frequently associated with those marginalized by society, including sinners and tax collectors, emphasizing love and mercy over judgment. What if the core message of Christianity is more about love than we thought? Now, finally, let's talk about the last final truth about the homosexual, that is the call for compassion and understanding. The Bible calls for compassion and understanding above all. In John 13 verses 34 to 35, Jesus commands, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." This emphasis on love and compassion suggests that Christians should approach the topic of homosexuality with empathy and understanding. The story of the Good Samaritan in Luke 10 verses 25 to 37 exemplifies this call to love and care for others, regardless of societal boundaries. How can we practice these teachings in our lives today? Let's recap the 7 hidden biblical truths we discussed today. First, the Bible's stance on homosexuality is more nuanced than many believe. Second, certain biblical passages often cited against homosexuality are sometimes misunderstood. Third, different translations of the Bible can lead to different interpretations of key texts. Fourth, cultural context plays a huge role in understanding biblical texts. Fifth, the original Hebrew and Greek texts offer deeper insights into the Bible's messages on homosexuality. Sixth, Jesus' teachings focus more on love and acceptance rather than condemnation. And seventh, the Bible calls for compassion and understanding above all. These hidden truths are crucial for a more informed and compassionate understanding of what the Bible says about homosexuality. How do these hidden truths change your perspective on homosexuality and the Bible? I encourage you to reflect on this information and share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found these insights valuable, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Remember, the Bible is a complex and rich text, and understanding it fully requires an open heart and mind. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.